What are Marcos Alonso's abilities, weaknesses? How has he improved and what does he bring to the table? This is Marcos Alonso's profile. Today with me is my brother, a friend, Ishan Bhadra. Ishan, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective.
Hey, thank you, Coachila. Thank you for having me. Last time we had a great show, and looking forward for the conversation today. And yes, it's always a pleasure to come here.
Yeah, and before we continue, congratulations. The club signed you, or the player you scouted for scouting for Chelsea. But unfortunately, you're not going to win anything for that.
Nah. I'm happy for the club. I think so. The points that I made sense, and maybe somebody from Chelsea board was watching your show. So
you never know. So coming back to the man of the moment, Marcos Alonso. Let's start by talking about his current form. I mean, under Tuchel, he looked rejuvenated. He looked a different player, and most Chelsea fan base, most of them, they've given him a break that he's always needed. They don't talk about his bad performances that much, and you could argue that's because he hasn't been bad lately. I want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, Marcos Alonso currently, he's trying really hard to come into the first team, knowing the fact that there's Ben Chilwell there. So yeah, it's a tough competition, but Marcos Alonso is someone who would not prefer to sit on the bench for a long period of time. You know what I mean? He's a player. He's a competitive player, irrespective of his highs and lows that he's had. He's a competitive player, and he'll give everything that he has, to the team. And that's the thing I like about Marcos Alonso. But then yes, the thing is, the competition is high, and yes, looking at the past season, he's not our first choice, left wing back, although his natural ability is left wing back, you know what I mean? But it's Ben Chilwell who we all think that, he's a 50 million signing and he has to start over Alonso. So yeah, now knowing the fact that, Emerson Palmieri left Chelsea, so Alonso will get more game time, and currently he's been performing exceptionally well. I know the fact that Ben Chilwell wants to come in, just drive into the team slowly, steadily, but then make his mark into the first team. But the way Marcos Alonso is playing the whole preseason and the first two games, against Arsenal and Crystal Palace, he's been exceptional. Well, I mean, he's got one, mad free kick goal against Crystal Palace, our opening goal for the Premier League season. It's a big thing. He's oozing with confidence, and he looks very, very sharp, very, very sharp. And not just that, Coach, one thing that we need to see is that Marcos Alonso's movement has been very, very precise, very clear. I've not seen Marcos Alonso play like that for a long time, and I'm saying this seriously because, whenever he goes forward for an attack, right, he always tends to come back, give a back pass, or retrieves, has that hesitation to go forward and attack. But now for the whole preseason, this year's preseason, and the couple of games that he's played, he's been exceptionally well. When he's going to attack, he attacks with full might. He knows who to pass, where do I create the chances. The first touch has been exceptional. You know what I mean? And the players supporting Marcos Alonso have been exceptional as well. He's really aware of the positions where the player are and where he needs to pass with quick decision making. And his decision making has been exceptionally well for the past 2-3 weeks. So yeah, he's been doing exceptionally great, and I hope he continues this good form for us.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I mean, he hasn't put the foot wrong in the games he's played for us so far this season, and it's great to see. And the one thing I did take away from that is your response to his performance under Thomas Tuchel is he doesn't give up. It doesn't look like it doesn't look like he gives up. He comes in every time you think he's done. He comes back into the team stronger and even better. And surprisingly, he's done well defensively too. and that's great to see. And like you said, I hope that continues because he doesn't just he brings goals with him whenever he gets a chance to play. I think he's scored great goals for us, and long may that continue. So, Ishan, let's delve into his profile. Can you give us an overview of his abilities as a player?
Now, Marcos Alonso is special, and especially in the wing back role, he's an absolute monster. There's no much better wing back player than Marcos Alonso is at this point of time. Ben Chilwell is not a traditional wing back player. He's been adjusted to being a wing back player. You know what I mean? Ben Chilwell initially is a left back player. He's a proper left back player. But now, knowing the fact that we're playing in a back three system and we need a wing back player, Ben Chilwell is starting to adjust himself into being a wing back player, and he's done pretty well in the last season. So kudos to Ben Chilwell. But the thing here is Marcos Alonso is naturally a wing back player. The many times that you see him, being a left footer, being a good left footer with a powerful finishing ability, with his good precise finishing. The many times you see him in the attacking forefront, in the attacking front three, it seems like he's playing a part of a winger also, right? So I mean, he does his work. He does his good work in the wing position itself, and also very surprising to the opponents that he does not get man marked that much. Being a left wing back player, sometimes the oppositions do not man mark him, knowing the fact that he won't come that front, but he always gets into the position where the ball comes to him and he has to slap that into the bottom corner of the net, and he does that. His finishing is absolutely amazing. He's got a rocket of a left footer. He's so good with his free kicks, and we've seen that in the first game as well. Not just the first game against Crystal Palace, but all his tenure in Chelsea FC. We've seen him score a lot of free kicks and beautiful ones as well. So yeah, I mean, Marcos Alonso, he's great for us in that, especially in that wing back position. And now he realizes the fact that, listen, Thomas Tuchel is playing in a wing, back three, and he's playing in the wing back position. So he'll have, this is the chance for him to get his all abilities out. I mean, this is the chance where he needs to, prove the world that he is the legit wing back player, and he is playing in the way that nobody can take him out of the team. That's exactly what I told him many a times, that the way Marcos Alonso played against Crystal Palace, it would be very, very harsh on him if he did not play against Arsenal, and he did, and he played really well against Arsenal also. Again, it puts another question that he has to play against Liverpool as well, because the abilities that he brings at the left hand side is quite amazing. And he's also improved a lot with his first touch, with his one-to-one abilities. He's been amazing. So yeah, Marcos Alonso is good aerially as well. I mean, he's good in headings. So maybe not in the attacking forefront, but when you're defending, you need to be good aerially as well, and it's very important for a defender to be aerially very much dominant. And Alonso, with his height and with his aerial ability, is a good dominant player for Chelsea FC. Not for just defensively, but also sometimes offensively as well. So yeah, he's a good player and a good asset for us. Yes, he might have games here and there sometimes. He might look off color sometimes, but then we should not point out his abilities. He's a natural left wing back player, and he's won a lot with Chelsea, right? So yeah, I mean, hats off to his abilities, and I think so this season is going to be very, very crucial for him.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on his abilities. I mean, he could play in a striking role, and I show you he's capable of executing that well if you ever deploy him in that area, because his ability to score goals, not just free kicks. He gets in the box all the time, and that's great to see. And these days, wing backs, I think, should be able to score goals, should be able to make decisive runs into the opponent's boxes, and he does those things very well. So let's come to his weaknesses, because no player is perfect. Every player on earth has one weakness or the other. Ishan, in terms of Marcos Alonso, what are his weaknesses?
Yeah, There has to be weaknesses, right? Or else, no, I mean, nobody's perfect in this world, right? And Alonso has his weaknesses. That's why he's been, maybe termed as a second choice left wing back in our team behind Chilwell. Although we know the fact that Chilwell hasn't started or even played a single minute for Chelsea after the Champions League final. And it's been all along Marcos Alonso the whole preseason, the first two games in the Premier League. It's been Marcos Alonso, and the thing is that which might concern me is against the next match in Liverpool. That was just I was considering. It's very important for him to work on his speed. I think so. That's where he lacks his abilities. That's where he's lacking behind Chilwell. That's where the competition comes, and it is a very important factor. You know what I mean? Because without a speed, a left wing back is a little bit weak.
Okay,
Why?
let's
Because
let me come in there. I
yeah,
didn't mean to cut you off.
yeah,
How
yeah,
old
yeah.
is he right now?
He's 30. He's 30. He's 30.
He's 30 right now. Do you think his speed is something that he can improve on at 30?
It's maybe not something which you can improve on, but you have to adapt to the circumstances accordingly. But the thing is, if you're playing in a back three with a wing back, you've got no options. You have to produce that amount of speed. That the wing back role in a back three position is so crucial that you have to be to and fro continuously. You know what I mean? What the moment you go up for an attack, a wing back has to go for an attack, and with that equal pace you have to come down, drop back for a defend, for to resist that counter attack or a counter transition. You have to be that. Defensive abilities, you'll have that, and you can improve on that. Regardless of the age, you can improve on that. But speed is something which you can't complain about, right? But the thing is, if the team is demanding speed, if the manager demands speed, their speed in the sense to and fro oscillation on that position, you have to deliver. Regardless of that, you have to deliver. Again, that depends on the oppositions as well. Like I said, next team is Liverpool, high pressing, high transition team. The moment they get the ball, it's just pass, attack, counter attack. It's all Liverpool, full of pace, right? You've got the likes of Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, who are as fast as you can imagine in the wings. And being a wing back, you got the responsibility to hold them up. You have to have the pace to have a control on Mohamed Salah. You know what I mean? So that's where you cannot have an excuse, right? But that's the thing, Coachila. That does not mean Marcos Alonso is incapable of doing things, or he should be working on his speed.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe everybody's not that pacey as you can. Naturally, you might not be that pacey, right? But it should vary from opposition to opposition. You know what I mean? If you feel that Marcos Alonso should be there against the likes of Arsenal, because Arsenal might not be that paced counter attack as comparatively to Liverpool, fair enough, play Alonso. But against Liverpool, if you think that you need to have the likes of Chilwell, because you'll have a to and fro oscillation on the wing back position, then you might need to have Chilwell, because you cannot compromise on the speed. Or if you think the fact that you've got Alonso, he's on a good red hot form, you need to have Alonso there, then you need to comply with the whole back line, that so that he does not have to move to and fro that regularly, because you'll get beaten by pace. If you have Mohamed Salah in front of you, you will get beaten by pace if you've got
Yeah.
Marcos Alonso. So
Yeah.
you need to adjust your gameplay accordingly. Look at the oppositions, look at the strengths, look at the weakness. If they're a low block team, maybe it is the best for Marcos Alonso to play there. If they're a high line team, high pressure, high counter transition team, maybe you might, if you need Marcos Alonso, maybe he does not need to go to and fro that much. Maybe rely on defensive more, and go on attack maybe sometimes, but not maybe that much, so that you still save your energy and have your speed right at the right time. So it's important, and that is something Thomas Tuchel would analyze and play him. But the thing is, the speed is the factor which I think Marcos Alonso
Yeah.
lacks behind.
Yeah, in terms of his pace, I mean, I would say I'm not really that concerned about his pace at this point. It is other aspects of his games are critical to the way we play, and he's done very well because it looks as if Tuchel has found a way to protect him whenever he's on the pitch, so we're not vulnerable defensively. And because it wasn't like Arsenal had pace, Arsenal had a lot of pace, and yet he did very well. So I think if Tuchel really wants to play him because he's in a red hot form like you described it, there are ways that he could deploy the team, and we wouldn't even know that Marcos Alonso is on the pitch, and we'll be defensively sound still. Again, it depends on the game plan. Obviously, Marcos Alonso has improved, and the question is, how has he improved? So, Ishan, over to you on that.
Yeah, he has, and just like you said, you've wonderfully said in the beginning that he's someone who always backs him up. He comes back stronger, looking stronger, and with a greater contribution to the team. Marcos Alonso has been improving since he knows the fact that Thomas Tuchel came in, and we're playing with the back three, with a wing back. So he knows the fact that wing back position is his stronger position. He wouldn't have been preferred much if we played a back four, knowing the fact that left back Ben Chilwell might be preferred more than more times than what Marcos Alonso would be preferred in a left back position. But since we're playing a wing back position, Marcos Alonso has his own mark, his own authority, right? He's got the abilities in those wing back position, which Ben Chilwell might lag a little bit, in that attacking front, the position that he goes, the positions that he catches, his decision making in the attacking front is exceptional, which you might not see that in Ben Chilwell, right? I'm not saying that Ben Chilwell is bad, but I'm saying that Marcos Alonso is a little bit ahead of him in those abilities there. So Marcos Alonso, the more this team plays a back three with a wing back, and the more consistently Marcos Alonso plays with this good manager named Thomas Tuchel, he'll improve a lot. A lot comes with a manager. A good manager makes a good player even better. And that's what's happening with Marcos Alonso. That's what happened with a lot of players, not just Marcos Alonso. You'd see a Jorginho, you'd see a Kovačić, you'd see with the defenders, Christensen, Rudiger. Thomas Tuchel made these players look good and better. Even Marcos Alonso has that. He's got his opportunity, and he's showing that he can be world class player, and he is with his abilities. But he just needs that consistency. Maybe now we've got a big dilemma in the left wing back, right? We've got a Chilwell also, and he's a 50 million pounder, right? So he with that high price tag, we do not expect him to be warming the bench for the majority of the times. We know the fact that Chilwell might be chipping into the squad sooner rather than later, but if Alonso is performing that good, if he's improving consistently with his first touch, he's improving with his aerial abilities, he's improving. His defensively, he was defensively shaky a little bit in between times. You never know when he will blunder out in the defense. But now he looks. Whenever he attacks with a straightforward mindset that he needs to attack. And with his first touch and combination gameplay with the attacking tens, he's been improving there as well. With his crosses, he's been improved with his crosses. Free kicks, he scored a goal. In the attacking front, in a wing back, as a wing back player, Marcos Alonso is always a threat. And he's, like I said earlier, he does not, sometimes the opposition do not mark this player, knowing that he's a wing back and he comes from the extreme left, right? So he does not get marked sometimes. And that's when he comes up, gets himself into the good positions where he can slot in goals. And he does that very beautifully. So yeah, his finishing has always been good. But yes, the combination plays, the first touches, his decision making with the passes, dropping back and defensively not making mistake is a huge improvement for Marcos Alonso this season. And I hope he keeps this momentum going and running. It'll be very good for the whole team.
Yeah. I mean, very, very, very well put there, and a great response to that question. He's improved really, and his improvements are there for all of us to see in the games that he's played so far this season, and even almost all the games he's played under Thomas Tuchel, he's been brilliant for us. What was something you say that's important for everyone to note is that a manager's approach to the game can impact a player's performance. And on the Frank Lampard, it seemed as if he was on his way out of the club. But the moment Tuchel came in, he's looked rejuvenated ever since, and has grown from strength to strength, and he hasn't relented ever since, and that's good to see. And like I said before, long may it continue, because he's a great player. He finishes very well. He brings goals to the team. When he's on his day, he defends very well too. But that's by the way, Ishan. Overall, to put everything together, what does Marcos Alonso bring to the table? What does he bring to the team?
Yeah, Marcos Alonso, like I said, he's in an attacking front. He's going to be very, very crucial for Chelsea. He's going to be a threat for the oppositions in the attacking front, because the oppositions sometimes do not mark him, like I said, and he gets into the positions where the other players might not get into the positions, right? And then he'll always be a threat to the oppositions to score goal out of nowhere. He's a threat in the and the free kicks for the oppositions as well. He's exceptional with his free kicks. And we've seen that for years now. He's really good at his free kicks, so he can take a dig at the free kicks as well. And defensively also he's quite rigid. Aerially he's very good. He's been improving there as well. So I mean, the improvement that he's making, it's a good sign for him as well as for the whole team, because if you have got two left wing backs with very good abilities and good gameplay overall, will be so much more flexible to change these guys and rotate these guys. And this will help these guys to not get burned out for the later months coming up. The schedule is going to be hectic for the whole club, right? There's going to be 2 matches in 1 week, something like that. And when you have that, you need to have a good bench strength. And Marcos Alonso would be more reliable then, because the fact that if Chilwell might not play, then Marcos Alonso is a very good player. And if Marcos Alonso does not play, if Alonso gets a rest, Chilwell can hop in and do his job that he does best. So Alonso brings a lot of reliability. I am surprised actually to the fact that Alonso humbled himself and decided to stay. He's decided to be be a rotational player, apart from Ben Chilwell in the team. So I think it's a big kudos to him. He realizes that we've got a good manager and good team, so big kudos to him. And he's been improving a lot, and he'll be a prospect next season for us.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time to answer that question. Now let's get into his future. The talks about his departure from Stamford Bridge started under Mauricio Sarri, to Frank Lampard, to even Thomas Tuchel himself. That's under 3 managers, but he's been there. He hasn't given up. Like we've established, he's a fighter. His spirit is always high. You see him smiling all the time, even when it looks like it's over for. Even when it looked like it was over for him, he came back stronger. So, do you think he still has a future at Chelsea, given all this talks about his departure from the club and on?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was very surprised to the fact that he, just like I said, he humbled himself and agreed to stay to the club, knowing the fact that he's got Ben Chilwell, who's going to start for the majority of times of the season, and he'll be a rotational player. If he performs well, then definitely he goes ahead and starts above Ben Chilwell. It's all merit-wise. But the thing is, I thought that we had three left back players, right? Knowing the fact that we've got Emerson, we've got Ben Chilwell, and we've got Alonso for that one spot. So one had to leave, and knowing with all the links, with Inter Milan, maybe sometimes with AC Milan, with Napoli, with so many clubs, we've got the links that Marcos Alonso is leaving. Every swap deal that we hear, we've heard Marcos Alonso getting linked there, and he was a part of the deal. With all of that, after all of that, we saw Emerson leaving, and then Marcos Alonso staying, and he had Thomas Tuchel might have convinced him to stay in the club, and he likes the club. We're the European champions. He would like to play in this club, and I was surprised to see that. I did not expect Marcos Alonso to humble himself, because I thought his mentality is always to be in the starting 11. If not Chelsea FC, fine. He would find himself at other club and be in that starting 11. But I'm surprised that he humbled himself and say that, listen, I'm going to play for this club. I like this club and I'll be playing for this club, regardless of the fact that, Ben Chilwell is there to take my position. But it's fine. I am needed in this club. Ben Chilwell is just one player, but this whole league, this whole season cannot run with just one player. So I will be needed, and whenever time I get in this club, I'll give my 100%. And that's exactly what Marcos Alonso is showing at this point of time, and I'm really happy that he did that, because he's a quality player. And if he's fine being a rotational player, or a player who can be rely on the tough times, if he's fine with that, then I think so. I'm really happy with that, and I'll take Marcos Alonso any day. And the way that he's improved, I hope he keeps this momentum going. I hope he keeps this good form going. It'll be a boost to him as well as for the whole club.
Yeah, it's amazing to see that he has a very strong mentality, and like you did put it, if he is comfortable with becoming a rotational player and coming up big for us whenever we need him, that's fine. And he has a future. But at 30, I'm seeing the possibility of the club bringing in another left back, maybe Emerson coming back on loan, rejuvenated, and then Alonso will struggle to get into the team because he's 30 and he becomes 31 next season. Uh, I hope he stays because he's proven he has a strong mentality, like I mentioned before. And gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, that is Marcos Alonso's profile. So please get in the comments section below and let us know if we missed anything. Thank you very much for watching, and please don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't, and more importantly, click on the bell notification button so you don't miss anything. And that is it from me, Coachila, and my friend and brother Ishan. See you guys next time. Cheers.